All right, this is Patrick Rogers, and in this podcast episode, this is going to be my first episode with just me speaking. And basically, this is going to be kind of a high-level masterclass in how to create a culture of ownership. And this is going to be from my years of consulting, doing it in my own businesses, and as well as all some of the nuggets that I've picked up from meeting with the hundreds of business owners over time, and also here on the podcast. So what we're going to really talk about is how do we create and foster this culture of ownership? A lot of what I have talked about, if you follow me on LinkedIn, a lot of what we talk about on there is how to create passion and drive engagement in a company. And some of it's somewhat related, but when it comes to culture of ownership, what I'm going to go through today is different than what I go through in the past. What I talk about in the past or in other episodes is really focusing on the being, really, right? Focus on who we're being as managers, as owners of the company, and how we're bringing this energy level, energy of positive compassion and love to our organization. And that's all about who we're being, right? And today we're going to focus a little bit more on the doing aspect of it. So when we talk about the culture of ownership with employees, it's a little bit different. So first of all, we have to describe why a culture of ownership is even important, okay? And the thing is that what owners think about in their life, right, and what employees think about in their life, they're two totally separate things. They're not at all related. Owners think about cash flow, they think about risk, they think about revenue, they think about growth, think about market share, economy, right? Owners are thinking about employee retention, turnover, cost control, capital allocation, right? That's where owners' mindsets are. Employees are thinking about totally different things. Employees are thinking about their paycheck. They're thinking about their benefits. They're thinking about recognition. Employees are thinking about job security. They're thinking about Friday, right? Their work environment, their peers, the water cooler, the opportunity, right? So very different things. So unless you have a common language and a common set of goals between the owners and the employees that aligns them, you're never going to have employees who even get close to thinking like an owner. It's just impossible. It's not going to make sense. And you could have employees in a company who are doing a good job, who are doing a job. We won't even get into quiet quitting and some of the as you know, if you follow me, that I'm a huge Gallup person with respect to the information that they have and how, almost the majority of the workforce in America is just doing the bare minimum. Everything's changed since the pandemic, but the good news is that creating a culture of ownership, it's not as difficult as one might think. And in this session, I'm going to break this down to very simplistic 30,000 foot elevation views and concepts and ideas. So first of all, how do you create an organization of winners? Well, you don't want an organization where you kind of, it's entitlement, right? Where they feel like they have it coming. They did the best they could. They like the things just the way they are. And on the other side, you don't want an organization that's led by fear, right? Where they can feel like they can never let up. They always have to be grinding, and it's fear-based. It's either I do this or else. They're always watching their back. They never feel safe, right? And unfortunately, a lot of organizations either teeter on one of these two extremes. Either on one side, they give out a bronze medal or a gold medal for everybody just for showing up, or on the other side, they're fear-based, command and control, right? So we want an organization where it's right in between the two. And that's where you're going to get the most ownership, the most passion. And that's where you have people really thinking about, what they're doing. They're owning their job. They're owning their contribution. They understand big picture. We're going to go into a little bit more of the details, but it's self-motivation, right? It's not coming down autocratically. It's not coming down from command and control, and it's not a bronze star for just showing up. Okay, these are people that are excited and aligned with helping the company get to the next level, right? But all of that requires your team members, again, to be self-motivated, right? To have a desire to always be testing boundaries, right? Be pushing the limits to trying new things. And this doesn't happen overnight. The good news is there's an actual formula to it. So getting someone to want to do something you can't get people to change, as you know, if you've been in relationships or anything else, you can't get people to change, but you can provide them the right human motivation, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. You can provide them the right environment, and then it's up to them whether or not they thrive. Okay, so let's dive in. And by the way, most people do. Most people do. I mean, we're all human beings. We all, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? We love to grow. Human beings love to measure what we're doing. We love to know what we're contributing. We love to be always improving, right? So as a general rule of thumb, when you introduce this concept to people, they thrive. There's going to be some that don't, and that's fine. They'll raise their hands and let you know they don't, with performance or attitude or whatever that behavior, whatever that is, and it'll be easier to move on because they are now not a part of your system, part of your culture. So that's very important. So the first part is educating your team on some basic financial literacies, right? How do we get them to start thinking like an owner? Now, we're not going to make, an expert out of them, right? They're not going to know inside and out profit and loss. They're not going to do forecasting, right? Balance statements. They don't have to create them and all that. But I can tell you this, what your employees don't know, it can and is likely already hurting you. Okay. Most employees think that if your company, let's just say your company takes in, 10 million, right? They think you're walking home with at least 5 or 6 million in your pocket as the owner. Okay. And this is statistics proven from surveying millions and millions of employees across the United States. So the first step, let's educate them. Okay. Let's educate every person in your organization in very simplistic terms on how profit and loss and margins occur, and even simplistic concepts on the balance sheet so they understand and can start thinking like an owner. Okay. Instead of thinking that the owners are going to go home with 50 to 60% net profit margin, they'll start to understand and appreciate everything that's going on inside the business with respect to things like capital allocations, other requirements of cash. They're going to understand cost of goods sold. They're going to understand overhead. They're going to understand and appreciate how a company may only be making 10 cents for every dollar that it brings in. Of course, these are not my clients, right? I guess depending on the size of the company. If it's a larger company, that's just kind of the nature of things. But smaller companies, if you're definitely under 10 million, you should be a healthy 20% profit margin. But anyways, I digress. So we help them understand that, first of all. And now that's the first step for them to be able to comprehend and understand how important it is, everything else that we're doing. So we're kind of giving them the why, right? So the next step is to identify what are the areas of the company that we want to improve upon. We want to identify with the leadership team, what's the one key number or key performance indicator that we're going to really rally around as a team. Okay. And many times when we first start working out with a client, it's going to be net profit. Okay. So, but after maybe the second year of working together, or maybe 6 months in, it just depends. But there could be one thing. It depends on what's going on in the company. That assumption would be like with a healthy company, there's no real glaring red flags. But if you're a company who your net profit, you want to improve that. But one of the biggest thing in the company right now is you just cannot fulfill your orders to your clients on time. They're always coming in 30 days late and you're constantly churning customers. Well, yes, we're going to go for net profit, but the one KPI that's really impacting that ability to keep customers in this case would be on-time delivery. So we would establish that key number in the company as not only net profit we'd be tracking and going towards, but also on-time delivery. So once that's established, and we identify what is that one operational KPI indicator we're going to rally the entire company around. We then work with each leadership team member and we identify how their respective teams and departments contribute and roll up to that overall company key performance indicator. Let's just say net profit to make it easy, right? So we're aligning the entire company around one number. Okay, and once that's in place, we then identify, so for example, let's say it's a sales and marketing department. So sales, maybe it's number of presentations given, right? That's going to be their KPI that they're going to track and go for it, right? And so we identify the net profit, and then we identify what is the goal for that net profit, or whatever it is they're contributing. And then we go down to the divisional departmentals and we identify what is the one thing that we're going to track there. And I really want to be careful here, because if you try to do too many things, it's like anything else, right? You're going to be, if you try to do all things, you're no things to no one, right? So we want to be one thing, right? So within sales and marketing, whatever that is, let's say it's a number of presentations, the other KPIs will come with it, right? But we want to identify how many presentations is it going to require for us to be able to impact the net profit like we want to profit it. So you're basically working backwards. So there's more math to this, and it's really something you'll do with your leadership team, but identify, okay, our net profit increase is this. Okay, how much new business will the sales team need to generate? Okay, well, we know our close ratios. We just work backwards. How many presentations do we need to get? Let's say that's the KPI, right? So then we set a goal around that KPI for that division. Okay. And let's say it's, and something about goals is you want them to be very specific. We want to increase the number of sales presentations from whatever it currently is, 5 per month to 8 per month. Okay. And by a certain date. Okay. So there's your goal. And then we push that out for every respective department. So that might be engineering, that might be admin, that might be operations, or certain departments within operations, right? So let me take a pause here and summarize what we've done so far. We educated the entire company on financial literacy, just some real basics. We identified one key performance indicator within the company, one key number that we're going to target improving. And we also set a goal for that. We then also worked with each departmental manager or leadership team member and identified the one area in their respective units or divisions that we're going to focus on improving that will most improve the one key performance indicator, and we set some goals around that. Now what we do is we bring this from the leadership team down to the rest of the organization, okay, through the divisions, through the leadership team departments. And we implement something called rapid improvement projects. Okay, and this is where we make it fun. We implement a game type project that's targeted at achieving the respective departmental goal that we set together with the leadership team together. Okay, you can kind of start seeing how this alignment is going to start going down around the whole. Now the whole company is going to start be aligned around one key thing, and this is so important. So, except now, each leadership team member is going to be implementing this with their respective teams, and we're making it fun. We set a goal and we create a scoreboard together. And these rapid improvement projects, typically they're 90-day runs, okay, 90-day sprints, if you will, if you're, an agile guy or gal. But we do this 90-day thing, and here at the end of the goal, this is what it looks like. And then we create a fun scoreboard together with something that when we achieve it, we celebrate in some way. Perhaps it's a departmental, a picnic departmental, barbecue, or a trip to, maybe Top Golf. We might create hats or sweatshirts with the theme around it. You can even do something that if it's achieved, and this is, I know a lot of my clients love to do this, if it's achieved, something embarrassing happens to the leadership team member, right? So something fun like that, where, you go bowling and the manager has to wear something super silly or something, whatever you do together, the manager has to do something silly, uber silly. It just kind of adds a little bit of spice and fun to it, right? So, at the same time, each leadership team member is working with their managers, depending on the size of the company, or every member of their department, and identifying with each person how they directly impact the departmental goal. And this is very important. If this step is skipped, then the people in the organization, from the janitor to all the way up to VP and leadership, they're not going to have the correct line of sight, right, to be able to know how they're impacting the company goal. So it's very important that we connect the dots for them. We may assume that they know, they know why. No, they don't. And if they do, it's probably not in line with what you're thinking, right? So we want to get every person in the organization so that they're now measuring how they contribute to the departmental goal, and they're actively pursuing improving it on a regular basis, right? So now that we've taken departmental goals to every member of the organization and we have fun projects going on together, the next step is to keep score as a company. So each department, first of all, well, each person, you actually create an individual scorecard, okay? And people track it and update it on their own. And then we create a departmental scoreboard, okay? And with the department's KPIs, lagging and leading KPIs, and really, operational KPIs is really the same thing as leading KPIs. We can go into more in depth on that some other time. And then the leadership team also develops a company-wide scorecard, which will not only track KPIs, and this is where the system differs from everywhere else. We are implementing an open book system, open book management system here, where there is 100% complete transparency between the financials and the rest of the team. So every week we're meeting as a team and we're updating a simplified profit and loss statement together as a team. And I'm going to get into it in a little bit why this is so important. And that is that we want to incentivize people to act like an owner. So we've created now a complete line of sight all the way at the top, right? The profit of the company, all the way to what the actions of every person are doing, so they know how they contribute to the success of the company, right? So your next question might be, but why would they want to improve it? They're not really, how's the ownership really in there yet? So first of all, just having a group that is keeping score, right? And making something fun, that alone creates an atmosphere of positivity and growth. And we as human beings, we want to grow. We innately want to improve and make things better and make the world a better place. That's a truth. We just need to be in the right environment, the right process, the right system and structure to allow for that. When you don't have that, then nobody's measuring me. Why would I want to overachieve? Why would I want to do any better? However, how we bring this home and really complete the circle on how we put the finishing touches on implementing that culture of ownership is to now create an incentivization program that rewards employees when the company achieves the goal that it's set forth. And that's very important. It's not when the individual achieves it. It's not when the department achieves it. It's when the company achieves it. So this means that everybody in the company has to be aligned and operating on all cylinders to support the key number that we're all driving towards. And this is very different than any other bonus plan that you've probably been familiar with. And most bonus plans, what they'll do is they'll pay out a certain amount when the company, they do well at the end of the year. The thing about that is the employees have no idea, number one, how they're contributing to the success of the company. They just know they're doing their job. That's it. They have no idea how their actions impact directly that key number or the success of the company or why they're getting their bonus. The second thing is, as they go out throughout the year, they have no idea if they're close to achieving that goal or far away. They're totally in the blind. And that's why when most CEOs hear this, oh yeah, we're doing a bonus plan. Yeah, but you're missing out on the internal motivation aspect of it that is such an opportunity for you as a CEO to implement within your company. Okay. So with this program, employees know every week how they're doing. Personally, they know how their department is doing and exactly how the company is doing towards achieving the goals. And they know the minimum thresholds that are required for them to be able to start hitting that incentivization bonus program, right? So, and here's another key point in this: is this program is not set up to be a cost to the company, right? So the threshold that when you set this up properly, and it's super easy to do, the threshold will only kick in if you're able to achieve growth and improvements that you would have otherwise not achieved without implementing this culture of ownership program. And you set it up such that will always be the case every time. And that's really it. So I just want to do a quick recap from, again, another high level standpoint of what you can do to achieve a culture of ownership in your own company. First, you educate every employee in the company on basic financial literacy and business finances. Second, you establish a goal in the company that everyone can understand and drive towards. Third, you divide the goals up and identify the drivers for each department, and then carry that down through departments all the way to every person. So every employee 100% understands how they contribute to the bottom line. And next, we establish the rapid improvement projects to drive improvement of each departmental goal. Number 5, we establish scorecards. We keep score on an individual, departmental, and company-wide basis. And we establish a cadence of updating them publicly amongst our peers, which is very, very powerful. And then the last thing is we incentivize the team when they achieve certain thresholds above your net profit targets. And the most important thing in all of this is to remember that it's fun. Okay, it's not meant to reward anybody with a gold medal just for participation, and it's surely not meant to be fear-based. It's all about internal motivation and allowing people to find their own why and find their own motivation to operate as an owner. All right, and again, my name is Patrick Rogers. This was how to implement a culture of ownership in your company. If you're interested in how we can help you do that, feel free to go on our website and go to getstarted.patrickvrogers.com and be more than happy to have a discussion with you. Again, this is Patrick, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.